Welcome to the Constructing the Future podcast. I'm your host, Rihanna D. Trapani. Here we celebrate industry leaders shaping the future of the construction industry. They have inspiring stories and insights to share, and we're excited to bring them to you, the listeners. I'm a director of virtual civil consulting, a remote-first company of experienced project managers providing you with tender support by developing some kick-ass construction methodologies, programs and CMSs, and any other upfront project setup needed. Today we have Drew, a personal friend who is absolutely killing it in the construction and mining sector. Drew is a civil project manager and director of VDA Consultants. He started his engineering career shadowing his dad working in the project management and construction industry, and he was always fascinated with the sciences of how things work. From here, he studied civil engineering on the Gold Coast and quickly realized he couldn't perform well stuck behind a computer all day. Whilst completing his studies, Drew managed to secure undergraduate works at the Commonwealth Games, civil earthworks construction package, and realized this is exactly the role he'd been looking for. Drew spent the next 8 years rising through the ranks of various civil construction roles to eventually working on Australia's largest regional construction project for a Tier 1 construction company. Wow. Drew pivoted in the construction, in the civil project management roles in early 2020 and started to realize the huge gaps in the market for quality, experienced, and driven civil project managers to deliver projects. This led him to starting VDA Consultants, a boutique civil engineering and project management firm. VDA now serves mining, council construction, and government agencies across Southeast Queensland, Central Queensland, and Australia-wide. Just under 20 staff members. Wow. Welcome, Drew, to Constructing the Future podcast.
Hey, Ree. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Amazing.
It's quite an intro.
Yeah, it really was. I was impressed while I was reading it. But yeah, as I said, you're absolutely killing it. Thank you so much for being here. Really excited to dive into some questions. So I guess I was going to ask you to tell me a bit more about yourself. But unless you've got anything to add, I think that was a pretty awesome introduction. What keeps you motivated in this space? You're absolutely killing it, but yeah, what keeps you going?
Hey, that's a good question. So probably just a bit of background on myself. So obviously civil engineering, civil construction space, for people that don't know too much, there's various types you can kind of get into with the civil construction and civil engineering space. Some people are, or even just engineering in general, some people are very computer driven, some people are analytical, some people are good people, people, and some people are good at solving problems and some good at analysing them. And I think as you start going through the space, you start realising what you're good at, and maybe there's not a one size fits all kind of approach for things. So I think what I found going through the industry a lot was there's so many opportunities to do whatever you find works for you, and what you find kind of works and makes you excited to kind of get up in the morning and do it. So I suppose what motivates me a little bit is around the people aspects and some of the delivery aspects side of things. So we get into the project management space and we get into delivery space and the execution space, and I find there's a lot of high challenging, high paced work environment. There's a lot of people interaction, a lot of decisions being made on an hourly, daily, almost minute kind of operation sometimes, and some urgent, some not so urgent, but definitely it's always a fork in the road, and I find it's really motivating to try to get involved with that and be involved with that kind of fast-paced operation, and see how things change as well through the aspects of a project as well, life cycle. You can kind of go out there, you can physically see it, you can touch it, you can really be involved with the whole aspect from start to finish, and you don't just need to be an office jockey or something where you don't need to be the smartest operator in the room, you don't need to be the most intelligent, that's for sure. I'm living proof of that.
Me too.
You can actually, you can actually just use your skills that you've got and your aspects you've got and really find something that works well for you. So I think, what motivates me is that for me personally, but it also with the company that we've kind of developed, it really motivates me to kind of get people finding their own roles and finding what works for them as well. Because personally, coming from my own experience, starting in the industry, and I started in a couple of roles when I even thought, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. And you do kind of roles where you're sitting in front of a computer and you're going, oh, well, maybe you're doing this engineering. Yeah, it's got a nice little title to it, but maybe doing this space probably isn't something that I want to do. And then you kind of jump into somewhere else. You go, oh my goodness, this is exactly what I want to be doing. This is so exciting. This is really good. It's finding using all your skills. And then you don't even realize it's there. You don't even realize those opportunities exist. So it ticks all your boxes, and it's exciting, and you kind of reinvent yourself a little bit, and you go, well, hang on, no, that's exactly what I like. That's what motivates me. That's personally, but then also seeing other people's get involved with that too, and you do sometimes get stuck in a little bit of a rut in what you're doing, and you go, maybe this isn't right, and is this all I've got? I see my boss and my boss's boss and everyone down the path of me, and I go, is that really what I want to be doing? And then you kind of get another little opportunity where someone might go, oh, have a look at this and go into this space, and bang, it all opens up for you, and you go, wow, I didn't even know this existed. So I suppose professionally that's what motivates me to get out, but personally, I genuinely enjoy it. I genuinely enjoy what doing this space and getting into project management and the high pace of it, and the decision making and the constant forks in the road, and it changes every day, and it's kind of a little bit exciting for me. So that's probably what motivates me.
No, that's perfect. I loved how you touched on, it was all these life experiences that led you to finding what you really enjoy. And you're such a people person, so this is really suited to you rather than being stuck behind a desk. So that's awesome. There's also so much in civil engineering. Like you said, it's not just one size fits all, or there's not just one thing. There's so many different things in engineering and project management, construction, and you just don't know till you try. And I love that you've really carved this niche for yourself with VDA. Such a great space to be in. What does like some of your day-to-day activities look like when you talk about, it's the fast-paced nature, it's the quick decision making and putting out fires constantly? What does your day-to-day look like with that? Yeah, that's a good question. I think it changes every day, so it's hard to go a day-to-day operation. But so like from a site perspective, when you deal with projects, when you're on the a delivery side of it, obviously you're out there, you're trying to get at the interface of when the problems are happening. So from a site perspective, when you're dealing with a project and delivery, we I suppose a little bit just to back on my role currently, we deal in more of a project portfolio management space. So we have multiple project managers delivering projects underneath, but so I facilitate assistance with their delivery and help delivering some of their projects with them. But obviously it's usually a fairly early start for us. So it'll be a pre-start in the morning, which is generally 6 o'clock. A nice early start to the day, which is good. When you've kind of done that for a long time, I think the body clock really enjoys it, and you kind of get the most out of your day when you get there and you see it, the grassroots and the start of the day. And then obviously driving around site, identifying any of the upcoming problems for that day, that week, just to kind of keep making sure things are consistently going to the plan that we need to do. There's a lot of interface during the day with different people. So we have I'd say 50 to 60% of my days interfacing, communicating with people and different stakeholders around different projects that might be occurring, whether it's delivery changes, whether it's commercial impacts, whether it's people impacts, whether it's timing impacts. That's probably 50 to 60% of my day is really communicating a lot of that. The further you go down your career, the less probably technical aspects you get into now. Like I think the start of my career was a lot more technical, the side of it, but I'd say that kind of carves out a little bit, and it gets more communication and probably some smaller components of that. So it gets probably like 10% of the day is then technical. Motivating people, keeping people on track as well is more of a skill that you kind of increase over your career. So I find probably that's more
That's more like the rest of the 30% of the day is once you're communicating the plan, communicating your delivery model, you're communicating how it changes, you're communicating who's being affected. The next step is keeping your current status on track. So your current projects, your current project managers, your current staff, keeping them accountable. I'd say that's probably the remainder 30 to 40% of the day is keeping communicating to your own team around whether they're on track, what's the issues, what's behind, what's in front, and what do we need to focus on to make sure we're continuously meeting what our project targets are and our delivery targets are. So, and then there's also the other part of the day where you're trying to run a business and keeping other people motivated and trying to maintain operations, maintain the back end side of things too. So it's a little bit to juggle on both sides of it too. So
yeah, I mean, for anyone listening, Drew runs a tight ship.
Yeah, it's very good when you're dealing with people that. Like yourself, we obviously used to work together, but you're dealing with yourself. They're very competent, very good operators, and very clear and very concise with how they do things. So which is good. But yeah, everyone's different. Everyone's got their own skill sets, and everyone's got their own things that they're good at. It's just about getting a team together that can kind of fill a lot of those gaps and help bring other people up in their aspects that maybe they're not that they need to work on, and they want to work on as well. So.
Yeah, totally. And giving people the right task suited to what they're actually good at. I love that it's always about sink or swim, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very old school mantra, I think with that. While it has a place at the start of your career, I think when you definitely start, you have to try everything, and you need to go out and you need to be able to sink or swim, so to speak, and you need to be able to go jump in the deep end and really grab something you have no idea how to do and just figure it out. But then you go further in your career and you go, well, I already know I'm not. I could sit there and sink all day long, but I know it's not going to do well. I might as well get to the swimming lane and do what I know, do what I'm good at, and do what I enjoy, and do it really well and do it efficiently. So,
love that. I know you were just talking about having a really great team of really good operators, and this might be a bit tricky to pinpoint one, but I'd love to know a particular project or initiative, innovation, program, something that you and your team are so proud to be involved with or have spearheaded. I really want to, know where the industry is heading and where your space is heading.
Yeah, that's a good question. There's definitely been a few. I think the current projects that we're working on with, we have a team of 6 engineers and project managers now. One of the mine sites that I'm working on one of the larger mining operations in Queensland, and one of the mine sites we're working on at the moment. There's 6 project managers and engineers on that. We're delivering this quite a large environmental scope, and
nice.
That's one side of the actual scope and delivery side, which is really. It's really difficult to navigate through a lot of the technical sides of how we deliver some of the projects, meeting certain compliance aspects, meeting some of the stakeholder requirements. But I think we're really it's kind of, I feel like we're going through a lot of I suppose innovation, given that a lot of the stuff hasn't been done before historically, so it's not something we can go, this has been done before, let's grab that and run with it. It's something it's not been done before, so we're really going to have to find a solution to a unique problem. So I find that's been really challenging. It's been really good. I can't go into too much of the specifics of it, but I think that what we've done is really, really good, really good in that sense. But I think that's really powerful. But it's also the fact that we're also gluing together as a really good team, able to have we all work away, so we work away a little bit, a couple of days a week. So we're away from our family, our friends. So I think it's important not only to work well, to function well, but also to build healthy habits into your day. So look, this is their initiative, not something of my initiative. So a lot of the team members, we gel really well, but we're also going to, after work, we hold ourselves accountable to go play tennis, go to the gym after work, go do some social activities, and really just build some positive structure to what we're doing. And I feel that's one of the most proudest moments, and I think that's one of the most exciting things that I've seen just in the current environment. But one, it's the work that we're doing is making a bit of an impact to the operations, and into actually sustainable operations long term. But also the team that we're working in is doing it so effectively and successful. And I think everyone's getting a lot out of it, and it's giving a positive impact to their health. At least I feel it's having a positive impact to my health. So
yeah,
I'm sure
100%.
It's having a positive impact to theirs. And you know yourself, when you do get those aspects and those projects that you're working away, it's really long hours, it's really difficult. Having those certain positive spins on it really makes your week successful and effective, I think. So that's probably one of my biggest things.
Yeah, I love that. That was always a big challenge working away, and that's a really good segue into my next question. Is what are some of the challenges within the industry that you think really need some work?
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure you can speak from your own experience too. Some of the challenges working away on the construction industries and project management's a little bit more flexible, but construction industry itself and the engineering space and delivery side is really difficult, because there's a lot of face time that we need, and there is a lot of, like we're talking about, decision making being on the coal face of the decisions, and you really need to be there for a lot of that. It's very hard to do it from a remote scenario or anything like that, but I think the team, how I've seen it in the last at least 5 years, especially during COVID, there's been a lot more flexibility with your ability to deliver your work effectively, but not having to just be present 24/7 all the time. When we started, and you started as well, I think, Ree, it definitely was. You had to be there, and there was a real mantra about being there first and being there last, and it was really. I found it was really. I wouldn't say toxic, but it had a negative impact to a lot of people, and a lot of negative impact to why people wouldn't want to work in that industry when it's such an exciting industry, and it's such a unique kind of industry you can be a part of. It's got so many good positives, but that was just one of the big negatives on it. And I think what's the way that the industry is moving at the moment, it's really challenging that status quo, and then looking at what can we do as an alternative, but still maintain progress, still maintain delivery, still maintain the focus on delivery and how we produce a product at the end of the day, but give people the ability to be flexible and accountable for their works, but still be flexible for how they deliver that. So I think for instance, we're working on a roster at the moment where we some of the team fly in on the Monday and then fly out on the Wednesday or the Thursday. So they're on site, and they still work from home towards the back end of that week. It may change during the project, just with the delivery and how things need to go, and they're still doing their works. They're still on the phone. They're still contactable. They're still working through with a lot of stakeholders and a lot of the delivery of the personnel of the construction team. But you're not having to be physically present in a donga in the middle of nowhere for that whole time, and it makes a big impact to their lives. And people get a better output. You get a better employee, you get a better person, you get a better team being delivered in that, and the attitudes change. And I think that's a big, at least in my time looking at that and seeing that, I think that's a big change in what's happened in the last kind of couple of years. So, which is a huge positive, I feel.
Yeah, I love that. I completely agree. I think the world is really shifting, and there has to be better processes put in place to accommodate and move with the evolution of the rest of the world. I want to wrap up with one final question, Drew. What advice or encouragement would you give someone looking to enter and begin their journey in the civil and construction space, or mining? Or what is some advice you would give your younger self?
Some advice. So I was fortunate to have a younger brother that entered the construction industry. So I was often able to offload some advice to him. Some of it wasn't so good, but I'm hoping some of it was good. But so some of the advice definitely from a construction or at least engineering point of view is just give everything a go. I know some people want to work on something that they like and want to do things that they kind of think that will impress people or something like that, but just give everything a go at the start. You really want to get exposure to whatever you can, whatever you like, whatever you don't like, and getting that exposure to what you can do. And I know it helps early in your career, and some things you're going, oh, why am I doing this task? This is not beneath me, but it was just so mundane. But you've got to do it, and you learn good habits of just getting output, being efficient at things. You do pick up on a lot of good habits that help you later on in your career. So definitely, and I know it's not not one that it's been just invented now. It's been one that everyone says is just give everything a go that you can, get as much exposure to as you can to as much different industries, different teams, different projects, different whatever it may be. Just get as much exposure as you can. But and then I think you learn what you like, and then you can tailor your next roles, positions, projects, locations to what you do like, and then you find out what helps you drive, whether it's money, whether it's roster, whether it's teams, whether it's projects. You find what makes you drive and what helps you, and it really helps you get up in the morning and enjoy your working career and your working projects that you're working on. So. And then what advice would I give myself? Probably to stop being so, especially as a younger self, you get so self-absorbed and you think you know everything. And you definitely, as you go further your career, you realise how much you don't know. So I know definitely starting your career, we do the DISC profile, and you might have done it a few times yourself. It's one that's pretty common in a lot of the corporate processes and projects and the companies, but I've done a few over the years, and I'm slowly seeing myself. We used to start, when I started a career, there's a strong D in one side that you did things fast, you knew what you would do, you did it, and you were so impatient with everything, and you wanted an answer straight away, and you're aggressive towards things. And then as you move towards, and there's always an aspect of that, but as you move further towards your career, you slowly slide down the spectrum, and I'm now down more into that category that's more influential, but still likes things moving quick, but less aggressive with things. And so I think acknowledging that you don't need to be that hurry up, go get things done, put it out the door all the time at every single aspect of your life, and knowing that it's a bit of a understanding and soaking it in a little bit more. So I definitely give myself that advice, because it probably rustled a few feathers when I was going through the career a little bit, and people probably didn't like working around me too much.
Sounds like a similar story.
I think everyone goes through that. Everyone kind of goes through that aspect of their career, and it's part of the learning space. But definitely, as you go further down it, you realise, well, geez, you work with more people, like, you see like yourself as well, and you go, oh, dude, I know you'll get through these things, but it is enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great advice. Thank you so much for being here, Drew. This has been such a great chat today. I guess we'll wrap up there. Thank you everyone for listening. This is Constructing the Future podcast. See you next time.